Hi, Maria here, and today's video brings us into pigeon pose with the use of blocks. So have your yoga block ready and let's get started. Come to your table, and you can start from table, or if you like, you can always start from your down dog, but for the purpose of this video, I will be starting from table. And as you settle in, give yourself a nice stretch, extending the arms, stretching out as much as you like, and prepare to come into pigeon. Take your right leg up behind you, bring your knee in towards your nose, and send the right knee to the outer right wrist, shin on the floor, across your mat. Extend the left leg back and go as far as you can. Feel free to place a block underneath your right hip if you notice that your right hip is not touching the floor. It's a great way to even out your hips so that you're not lifting one hip more than the other or leaning more to one side. Walk your hands back and hang out there. That can be your pigeon today. If your back knee bothers you, feel free to tuck your toes under to take some of the pressure away from your knee, or to place a blanket under the knee. As I said, you can choose to stay right here and let your hip release open. If you can go a little lower, feel free to remove the block and lower your hips all the way down. Now, if you usually grab your ankle and yank the foot forward, don't do that anymore. It's actually not that healthy for your knee. What you want to do is lift your hips and slide your front knee back a little bit more so your leg is a little more parallel to the front of the mat. Now, personally, I cannot come into pigeon that way because it really bothers my knee and hip. So I don't parallel my leg to the front of the mat. I bring my foot towards my opposite hip, in this case my left hip, and my leg is at an angle, which is how it works for me, how it feels good for me. So if that's what works for you, stay there. If you can come a little further into it by bringing the leg a little more parallel, then go ahead and do it. It's really up to you. Slide your left leg back as much as it goes. Lengthen through the spine, lift the chest forward. Draw the shoulders back. And you can once again stay here seated upright, or you can start to walk your hands forward. Maybe come to your elbows and stay there. And remember, you can still have the block under your hip if you needed to be there. You can also have a block in front of you and bring your forehead to the block so you can rest a little bit more in the pose and be supported. You can turn the block to whatever level, whatever height feels good, higher or lower. Continue to lengthen the spine. And even if you don't normally use a block and you come all the way to the floor, sometimes it's nice just to have that block underneath your forehead anyway, so that you're giving your body a little bit of a different stretch, a little more restorative stretch. Continue to press into your front shin and send that right hip back and the left hip forward a little bit. That way your hips are a little more even. Slowly come back up, tuck your back toes, bring the knee to the ground, and slide your right leg back. Tuck the toes under, give it a nice stretch, rocking the hips back and forth. And then come to sit. Now, if you can't come into pigeon at all, this is another alternative. Sitting down, take your right ankle and cross it over your left leg, or the left ankle over the right leg. Bring the bottom foot to the floor and bend the knee. Now, as you do that, notice how that feels. If you're comfortable here, feel free to stay here. If you need to extend the leg forward, extend it forward. If you can bring your hips forward more, go ahead and bring the hips forward towards your heel. So you can do that in stages. Bring it forward a little bit, rest, see how it feels, bring it forward a little bit more, see how that feels, and maybe eventually you get your hips all the way by that bottom foot. And obviously, if it feels uncomfortable, you want to keep the hips a little further away. So that's another version of pigeon. I refer to it as seated pigeon. that you can come into, and it gives you this a similar stretch that a regular pigeon pose does. To come out, walk your hands back and slide your hips back and uncross your legs. Extend the legs forward, maybe give them a shake, or you can take a forward fold, whatever you need, as we come to the end of that one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, to like and comment. I want to hear from you and see what you think of the videos and any suggestions you may have.